How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Now you're poking fun at it. So now it's just a big joke? This whole thing's a joke? This is absolute cringe-worthy, and they should be ashamed.
Blake Lively was left in tears on SNL after Ryan Reynolds made a fool of himself in the most painfully awkward way on live TV. Blake had spent months crafting a heart-wrenching tale, pulling out all the stops as if she were gunning for an Oscar. But when Ryan's cringe-worthy moment hit, it all came crashing down.
Did they rewrite the SNL scripts too? Terrible humans.
Thanks to Ryan's jaw-dropping act of self-sabotage, everything came crashing down on live TV. And now Blake is left trying to pick up the shattered pieces. If you're scratching your head, wondering what went wrong this time, let me take you through the whole story from the very beginning.
Did Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively make their first public appearance at Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary? They made a joke about it all.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds strolled into the SNL 50th anniversary event, posing for the cameras with flawless composure, as if everything was perfectly fine. It was their first public appearance since Justin Baldoni hit them with a $400 million lawsuit, yet they appeared completely unfazed. Blake dazzled in a silver floral gown, radiating confidence with every step, while Ryan kept it classic in a black tuxedo. But despite their polished appearances, their body language told a far more revealing story than their outfits ever could.
Blake and Ryan to your slight right. Both of you, thank you.
Blake kept a sharp eye on Ryan, already bracing herself for the inevitable. He was bound to say something utterly ridiculous. It's practically his trademark. The show kicked off, jokes flew left and right, and then, as expected, the host turned their attention to Ryan.
How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
It started as a simple, harmless question, but Ryan somehow turned it into a full-blown issue. He could have said anything, played it safe, or even kept quiet, but no, he went for the sarcasm. The moment Amy Poehler and Tina Fey asked him the question, he flashed a smirk and unleashed a loaded one-liner, setting the stage for what was about to unfold.
How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
In an instant, the entire vibe of the room changed. The audience laughed, but not in the way they were supposed to. It wasn't the kind of laughter that came from genuine amusement. It was that awkward, uncomfortable laugh, the kind that tries to cover up secondhand embarrassment. Everyone in the room was well aware of the lawsuit, the headlines, and the PR nightmare that had been dogging Blake and Ryan for months. The tension was palpable, and that laugh only made it more evident.
I love the acting. She's really, what? Have you heard something? Have you heard something? Even Steven Spielberg's kind of like, okay, what? Now, definitely people laughed at it. It got some laughs.
The one person who wasn't laughing, Blake Lively. The second Ryan spoke, she turned to him, her eyes locking onto him with razor-sharp focus, and her face completely frozen. It wasn't subtle in the slightest. The look she gave him screamed, "Are you seriously doing this right now?" The last thing Blake wanted was for their lawsuit drama to turn into fodder for SNL's jokes.
It got some laughs. A little uncomfortable from Anna Taylor, and then Kevin Costner just didn't react at all.
But Ryan didn't seem to care. This was his thing, taking real-life disasters and twisting them into punchlines. When the lawsuit made headlines in December 2024, did Ryan handle it with any sort of maturity? Absolutely not. Did he step up to publicly support Blake? Again, no. Instead, he turned Justin Baldoni into the butt of a joke in Deadpool, completely sidestepping the seriousness of the situation.
Ryan used his Nice Pool character in Deadpool and Wolverine to mock Justin Baldoni.
A new character named Nice Pool suddenly appeared, and what a coincidence, he bore a striking resemblance to Justin Baldoni. The same soft-spoken vibe, the same over-the-top feminist persona, the same hollow male ally energy. This character took every opportunity to preach about toxic masculinity while simultaneously being mocked. And just to make the connection unmistakably clear, Ryan threw in a jab about pregnancy, something Baldoni is notably passionate about, just to rub salt in the wound.
There is no question that, yes, Ryan Reynolds based his Deadpool Wolverine character, Nice Pool, with the man bun, on Justin Baldoni.
Baldoni's team didn't miss a beat. They saw right through it. Ryan wasn't just cracking some innocent Deadpool joke. This was a calculated, very public dig. A deliberate mockery disguised as humor. And now, months later, he was at it again. Only this time, it was happening live on national television, with Blake sitting right there, trapped in the middle of yet another one of his reckless stunts.
Really, dude? this is so petty. Because it's like, if he really did all the things you say was what to your wife, this just feels too jokey.
The moment Ryan dropped that joke, the energy in the room shifted almost instantly. Even the SNL hosts paused, caught in a moment of uncertainty, unsure whether to laugh it off or just pretend it never happened. As Ryan kept cracking jokes, it became painfully clear to everyone in that audience. The lawsuit was anything but funny. The weight of it hung there, thick and undeniable.
In Deadpool Wolverine, you used Deadpool Wolverine to like mock this guy in the film that your wife disagreed with and didn't get along with. It's so hard to process.
Instead of reading the room and backing off, Ryan doubled down. Because hey, what's the best way to deflect from a massive legal scandal? Apparently, with an out-of-nowhere Coneheads joke. Just like that, he completely switched topics, hoping to throw everyone off the scent and distract from the growing tension. It was a classic move. Distract, deflect, and hope the spotlight shifts.
Yeah, okay. Well, my question is that, you know that the materials that they made the cone heads with, are those edible?
Edible? No, and based on them being made in 1975, I'd assume that they're highly toxic.
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler played along, but it was painfully obvious that the moment was forced. Tina, quick on her feet, shot back with, "No, and given they were made in 1975, I'd assume they're highly toxic." Ryan, refusing to let the bit die, pretended to be genuinely concerned, asking, "Oh, okay, so if, hypothetically, someone took a couple of nibbles backstage, should they go to the hospital?" Without missing a beat, Amy responded, "Yes, they should go to the hospital immediately." The whole exchange had a forced, uncomfortable air, but they kept it going, desperately trying to steer the focus away from the tension in the room.
So if somebody, hypothetically took a couple of nibbles backstage and, got excited, should they go to the hospital or should they?
Yes, they should go to the hospital right away.
Good.
Good luck.
Great.
Okay, next question.
Yeah, well, it wasn't funny. The only thing that was funny was the fact that he, made a point.
And just like that, the conversation moved on. The lawsuit was shoved aside, the tension swept under the rug. The audience laughed, but not because the joke was actually funny. They laughed because they were completely uncertain of how else to react. It wasn't genuine amusement. It was that awkward, uncertain laughter that fills the silence when everyone knows something's off, but no one wants to acknowledge it.
He kind of had to being there, which makes me realize and think this was all orchestrated and planned. This was his WME and people getting in and giving Lauren Michaels and Saturday Night Live sort of the opportunity to get them there first, to sort of address it.
And poor Blake Lively, who had spent years carefully crafting her image as America's sweetheart, adored and admired by Hollywood, watched it all unravel in an instant. It wasn't a dramatic lawsuit, a leaked scandal, or some career-shattering revelation that took her down. No, it was a single, thoughtless sentence, spoken with the kind of arrogance that, once caught on camera, the internet never lets go of. Just like that, everything she had worked so hard for began to crumble.
She's never hosted. He's never hosted. He appeared once as a guest star, but the fact that they're there to me on this show of all shows felt very forced.
It all went down at a New York press junket for It Ends With Us, a film that was already burdened with controversy. This was supposed to be Blake's PR victory, a chance to remind the world that she was still at the helm of a powerful female-led project. It was her moment to shine, to reinforce her position in Hollywood. But instead, it quickly turned into something she couldn't have predicted.
And Kirsty just wanted to ask Blake Lively a question about, first and foremost, Blake Lively was pregnant while she was filming this. So she opens up with just like a nice compliment about her cute little bump.
Then, Kirsty D. Flaw, a seasoned Hollywood journalist, respected, sharp, and completely unaware that she was about to ignite Blake's worst PR nightmare, sat across from Blake, flashing a warm smile as she offered what should have been a harmless, supportive comment. First of all, congrats on your little bump. It was polite, friendly, and utterly routine. There was nothing controversial about it, but Blake's reaction was immediate, and it was brutal.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
And they are kind of bumps, aren't they?
In an instant, her smile vanished. Her body stiffened, and without a second's hesitation, Blake shot back, "Congrats on yours." The room went still. Kirsty blinked, utterly stunned, caught completely off guard by the sharpness of Blake's response. And then, in that heavy silence, it hit everyone. Kirsty wasn't pregnant. Worse still, she had publicly shared her painful struggles with infertility.
The reporter did not have a baby bump. She wasn't pregnant. And apparently it had a history of difficulty in getting pregnant, which is why generally you just stay far away for something like that.
You know, but she's already kind of like, oh, why are you asking me about my bump? Like, how dare you do that? As if this woman meant any harm in it. Just like, she looks cute, she has a bump. But, you know, this was in 2016. I would say that modern feminism peaked in 2016. Like, women were just doing things, you know?
Within minutes, the clip went viral. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform lit up with outrage, tearing into Blake. She had spent years being admired, even envied. But this was something else entirely. It wasn't a slip-up, nor was it a misunderstanding. No, this was a cold, deliberate decision to humiliate someone, live on camera. And the internet, it saw through it instantly, recognizing it for exactly what it was: pure cruelty.
So that's your brain on modern feminism. You get asked the question, you're immediately offended because, of course, they would never ask this to a man. The woman's like, yeah, no, I would ask that to a guy because, like, yeah, that makes sense. Here's your brain when you don't suffer from that and you're just a guy and you just think logically and try to, I guess, come up with the answer.
Kirsty responded quickly and decisively. On July 15th, 2024, she released a statement that confirmed what everyone had already suspected. This wasn't some careless slip of the tongue, it was a calculated and deeply humiliating moment. In her statement, she opened up about her years of heart-wrenching struggles to have children, revealing how Blake's words landed like a gut-wrenching punch.
And ironically, she's trying her hardest in that interview not to be a woman when she's asked that question, like, you can't ask me about pregnancy, you can't ask me about outfits.
And to put any lingering conspiracy theories to rest, Kirsty made it crystal clear that she had no ties to Justin Baldoni, Blake's lawsuit, or any of the Hollywood drama swirling around them. She wasn't some paid pawn sent to tarnish Blake's image. She was simply a journalist doing her job. As for Blake, she had intentionally gone out of her way to humiliate her, and Kirsty wasn't about to let that slide.
So this woman came out and said, yeah, I almost literally quit my job because, by the way, that wasn't the only time that she had interviewed her. She interviewed her for also a simple favor. She was similarly rude, and I think that in her modern feminist mind, she thinks that when she's being rude, she's taking a stance for women, and she's not.
That was the moment everything changed. The internet turned on Blake Lively with a ferocity that no one saw coming. This wasn't about "it ends with us" anymore, nor was it about Baldoni. It was about who Blake truly was behind the carefully crafted PR mask. Suddenly, people who had never paid much attention to the lawsuit now had a reason to despise her. The headlines stopped focusing on her legal troubles and shifted to her character. It wasn't a debate about who was telling the truth. It became, has Blake Lively always been this awful?
Flaw responded afterwards saying that this whole thing got, publicized, your lawsuit, saying she is in no way connected to any attempt to smear Blake Lively. She doesn't know the PR people involved in this, and she said as follows.
But Blake wasn't just losing the public support, she was losing control, period. As social media relentlessly dragged her through the mud, her PR team switched tactics, launching a full-scale offensive aimed squarely at Justin Baldoni. If they couldn't win on the grounds of truth, they were determined to win by tearing him down through smears. Enter Stephanie Jones and Leslie Sloan, two of Hollywood's most formidable publicists. These women had built entire careers out of managing celebrity scandals, handling damage control with the kind of precision that could make or break a star. But this time, their mission wasn't about saving Blake. No, this time they were focused on one thing: dismantling Baldoni.
I had a bad experience with Blake Lively. At the time, I kind of had enough of Hollywood. I wasn't afraid of being canceled anymore, so I posted the video. So that one, which I think is the most famous example, Brian, the journalist herself is saying she had absolutely no connection to Justin Baldoni or these PR agents that we've been discussing.
By August 2024, the smear campaign was in full force. Anonymous sources began to surface, and major publications overnight released hit pieces on Baldoni. The narrative was quickly shifting. Justin wasn't just a director anymore, he had become a problem. The media painted him as controlling, difficult to work with, and even hinted at potential abuse. Some articles went even further, subtly alluding to new allegations, even though no formal claims had been made. The goal was crystal clear: to paint him as guilty, no matter the truth.
I would say all of it did not generate with this PR team. I mean, since I've been involved in this case, I've gotten 50 either texts or emails or, things to my firm's website, more than 50 actually, about this was my experience with Blake Lively.
But this wasn't just a whisper campaign, it was a full-scale media takedown. The real bombshell dropped when the New York Times got involved. A prestigious, respected publication suddenly published a pro-Blake article, presenting her claims as undeniable fact. At first, it looked like a major victory for Blake. The Times had her back, and with its clout, that should have been enough to sway public opinion in her favor. But just when it seemed like the tide was turning in her favor, Baldoni's team came out swinging.
We weren't allowed to talk to her on the set. We weren't allowed to ask for an autograph. We were, instructed, this way or that. We were treated like this. I mean, and these things aren't coming because we're doing an investigation. These are completely organic. These are based on people's real life experiences.
On September 4th, 2024, Baldoni's lawyers dropped a bombshell that shook the entire narrative. They released an extensive collection of receipts, emails, text messages, internal documents, exposing everything. In one fell swoop, they traced multiple anonymous sources directly back to Blake's PR team. Worse, they revealed that the New York Times had selectively edited text messages to portray Baldoni in an even darker light. Just like that, the carefully crafted smear campaign fell apart.
In fact, we've come across evidence that shows that even her own representatives knew that she was threatening and mean and tough and wanted to get her way.
Hollywood went into full panic mode. Executives who had once stood firmly by Blake's side suddenly stopped taking her calls. Co-stars who had publicly defended her now went eerily quiet, as if they'd never known her. Publications that had previously championed her lawsuit now avoided the case entirely, unwilling to touch it with a 10-foot pole. It wasn't just that Blake was losing public support, she was watching Hollywood itself turn its back on her.
The Baldoni cut, I'll call it, scored significantly higher than Blake Lively's cut. And still Blake Lively's cut was the one that was chosen. He still didn't do anything publicly.
Now, Blake Lively wasn't just losing a lawsuit, she was losing everything. And it was all unfolding in real time, going viral across every platform. For years, Blake had carefully crafted an image of Hollywood royalty. Graceful, poised, untouchable. She was the golden girl, the actress with a reputation so flawless it almost seemed too perfect to be real. But behind the carefully curated facade, the red carpet smiles, and the meticulously controlled PR machine, there was another version of Blake. A version that Hollywood insiders had been whispering about for years, but no one had dared expose until now.
We have a source that tells us that some of the cut that she had has some of Baldoni's version in it. I mean, in June of 2024, Blake Lively took over the marketing for the film. Again, there's nothing nothing negative in the press or anything else like that.
It wasn't the public who saw it first, it was the people who worked with her. The assistants, the crew members, the staff, those who weren't starstruck by the Hollywood glam, but who had witnessed the real Blake Lively, the one who didn't have to put on a show. And now, they weren't staying silent any longer. By October 2024, more than 50 industry professionals had stepped forward, sharing unsettling, first-hand accounts of what it was really like to work with Blake. These weren't vague complaints about diva behavior. They were chilling horror stories that painted a much darker picture than anyone could have imagined.
Since I've been involved in this case, I've gotten 50 either texts or emails or things to my firm's website, more than 50 actually, about this was my experience with Blake Lively.
Crew members who had worked on her projects, including It Ends With Us, began to speak out, revealing the strict, almost militaristic rules they were forced to follow. They were given explicit instructions: never speak to Blake, no eye contact, no casual conversation, and absolutely no approaching her unless it was absolutely essential. This wasn't just about celebrity privilege, it was a calculated form of control, designed to intimidate. Those who had worked on set described an atmosphere of constant anxiety, walking on eggshells, always on edge, unsure if the next wrong move would lead to an explosive outburst, or worse, an immediate firing.
Just really loved those patchwork like jeans that you have.
Magnolia Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my real life jeans.
Yeah, a lot of that is like your stuff.
The boots were mine.
I love those
there's these great Louboutins that are also a close-up on them when we're dancing in the bar. Those are mine. I have a few of my husband's shirts and socks randomly in the movie.
A production assistant from It Ends With Us later opened up in an interview, pulling back the curtain on life behind the scenes under Blake's reign. He described every single day on set as a delicate dance, where one wrong step, one misjudged glance, could result in someone being booted from the project. Crew members, he said, were removed for even the slightest perceived disrespect, like looking at her the wrong way. It wasn't just difficult or challenging, it was a constant state of unbearable tension. And perhaps the most chilling part, no one dared to speak up, no one challenged her. The fear of being next in line to be fired kept everyone silent, frozen in place.
People started noticing that Blake seemed sort of bullyish to this person who has far less power and stature in the industry than Blake does.
And there it is, folks. Blake Lively's unforgettable breakdown after Ryan Reynolds' jaw-dropping moment on SNL left us all stunned. What started as a simple appearance quickly spiraled into a PR disaster, exposing cracks in their once flawless public image. This saga is far from over, and it's taking twists we didn't see coming. What's your take on this shocking moment? Do you think Ryan's comment was a genuine mistake, or did he cross the line? Let us know what you think in the comments below. For more insider scoops, the latest celebrity drama, and all the explosive details behind Hollywood's biggest moments, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a thing. If you loved the breakdown, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. It really helps us out. Stay tuned for more jaw-dropping stories and all the juicy updates coming your way soon. Catch you in the next one.